So as I said, in the next video we're going to be doing suspension and brakes. So this is our strut, and on here your brake disc, brake caliper, shocks which are here, and then springs, and then your top mounts, and then that sits on your car, and then put your wheels on, blah blah blah. Tie rod end to go in here for the steering, anti-roll bar, drop link here. Then, before we put all of that on, I want to just clean up all of this service rust on here and on this bit here. We're just protecting the wheel bearings. It is a new bearing that's in there, with a bit of masking tape. I know it needs work, but you know, it'll do the job. I'm no mechanic, so I'm just doing this as a little bit of fun for myself, and I'm hoping that you guys are enjoying the videos. So I'm just going to run this around here to get most of this stuff off, and then we'll hammerite it and then go from there. So now you've watched me time lapse of me getting all of the rust off. So now all we're going to do is just paint some of this Nitro Moors rust control. Basically it's hammerite. You can get it from anywhere. Surprisingly Aldi oil, they're really good for hammerite. So I'm just going to paint this in the places where it needs to look a bit better, and then from there we're just going to start building up the spring. So now I've got my brush. I'm just going to lather it on. Doesn't have to be pretty. We're not a show car. You know, you could get these professionally done and they'd look lovely, but no one's ever going to see them. So we're just going to put on some black hammerite just to protect the metal and make sure that the elements don't kill my car. Because essentially we live in the UK, so that's what's going to happen. But only takes a few minutes to do. I did find on my old struts, and I'll get them in a second, that there was some red hammerite, and that set my work a lot. Just putting it on nice and good, nice and thick. And like any pot of paint, this has got a lovely bit of skin on the top. And I mean, it's not just for cars. Gate posts. My mum borrowed it for some metal chairs. You don't want to paint anywhere where you've got a thread either. So you haven't got a thread in them bits with 3 bolts, because you'll lose. I assume lose the thread tension, if that's the right way of saying it. Like I said, I'm not a mechanic. That one was pure guesswork, would you believe it? And as I said before, if there's any tips or advice that you would give me, probably wear a mask. So while we wait for the strut and the strut mounts to dry from the hammerite that we've done, just going to spray out the brake caliper. We're going for the Cadbury's Purple brake caliper paint, gloss finish. I got this from Scooby's Paint, and if you haven't got one of these little attachments, although it doesn't look like nothing, it's bloody brilliant. So I'm just going to scratch at the surface and then spray it down. because it's brand new caliper, we don't need to do this too much, but I've already given it a little spray off with brake cleaner. Now we could go too fancy in the corners and all around here, but you're not really seeing that part of the caliper. So it's just the main part that you're going to see. And as you can tell, we've taped up there, we've taped up there, so it's all good. I'm just going to tape up the brake line hole, as I forgot to do that. Now you don't want any paint in there, so we go. We're just going to start spraying it up, making sure we get an even coat across the board. See how we go. So then, rather than using that little push trigger at the top of the can, this just makes it into a little cheeky spray gun, which I think is brilliant. Look how quick and easy that was. Hopefully there's no one in the comments judging my painting, because, you know, it is what it is, isn't it? So just going to pop that in the garden to dry out. Don't know why I didn't put anything down on the wood, but here we have it. Pop that in the garden, dry down, and then we'll start building up that strut. So back to the strut. So as you can see, it's all nice and dry, etc. So to build this up and to get the new springs on, we've got to build it up in order. So you have your spring seat at the bottom, then your shock absorber goes in here, your cap on there, then this little seat, your rubber mounting, which is your bump stop, like so. That might need to go on after, actually. And like so. No? Oh, does that go in there? No, that's the right way around there. So this little washer thing on first, then that in there. Let's just absolutely mud me off. There we go. Boot, so that way round. The idea is that clips onto there, like so. Then your spring. Now these spring compressors, they cost me about £40 off from Machine Mart. You can get various ones across the board. You can get a floor mounted one, you can get one that works on the drill, or you can get these ones which basically you just lock them up like that. Now be warned when using these, they're very dangerous. Wouldn't recommend it. Maybe turn the volume down. So then you want to seat this. So we've got the marking in there, like so. It's really hard because I'm trying to show you guys how it's done and at the same time physically do it. So like that. Now obviously this bit doesn't match up at the moment, and we'll get to doing that. But as you can see on the strut mounting, there's that little curve here. That's where the spring needs to sit. Nice and nuzzled in there. So on like so. And then this is the bit where you panic for your absolute life and hope to God that you can get it off without it taking your teeth off. So in there, and if I could show you. So that seat is now nuzzled on that spring there, and there's the same one on this on the bottom end. And then all you got to do is then fight with the top here to get your top mount through. So now we haven't got enough of the spring sitting out yet. So we need to, of the shock absorber, sorry. So we need to compress the spring a bit more to get this out, to get that on, and to get the nut on. So let's continue to compress this spring a bit more. Be warned, turn your volume down. Now, when using these spring compressors, sorry, just be very cautious. Don't be too cocky, because these will break your teeth. They'll break your face. They will damage anywhere that they are. So I find it easier to do this on the floor, so I might check back with you to see how we get on this round. Right, let's check back when I've got it all built up. So I've got it all set up now. So basically that spring seat was knackered. I don't know what happened to it, but it's come away from where the bearings run. So that moves around. So I swapped it out for a different one. And I'm just going to take off these compressors now with my 10mm spanner. And you can get these from anywhere. You can get them off Amazon. You can get them off, any tooling site and whatnot. But I will pre-warn you, like I say, as a mechanic, they'll probably have better tools than these to do all of these jobs. But as a guy just doing it at his home in his garage, these are more than, good enough. And with these, all you just got to remember is follow the procedures. When I first ever did it, all I did was Google, how to do this safely. And I remember I was doing it like reaching over out the way. But there we go. There we have our strut. And then all I'm going to do is put the brake disc on, put our new painted caliper on, and fit it back to the car. Obviously, next time you'll see me, it will be fitting it onto the car as the full set of strut. And from there, we will, what we will do next. From there, I will show you the outside of the car, because I've put the new wings on, new to the car. They're blue, they're not purple. And then wheels, and I've got some nice wheels, which I've been keeping a little bit of a secret from even some of my friends. And yeah, so if you've enjoyed this video, I know it's been a bit stop-starty because you can't, plan for something like that. But I'm here to show you everything. I probably wouldn't have shown you the fact that it could have took my teeth off. And while I wait for the caliper, I've just noticed that I didn't do the bottom of that spring seat. So I'm just going to do that and just touch up a bit here. And then away we go. But thanks for watching. So we're going to put the strut back in. Got your drive shaft, your bottom ball joint, which is off your lower wishbone, your drop link, and your tie rod and your steering rack. So just taking off the nuts so I didn't lose them. And then I'll show you where we've got to mount it to. So you've got two here. And pop up the strut through here, put the drive shaft and the bottom ball joint through, and then put the rest on after. Let me know if you think I should paint this purple to go with the rocker cover or leave it red. So I'm just going to start doing that. So I just suspended the drive shaft with another axle so I didn't lose any fluid. So when I work on my car, I normally have music on, but obviously can't have music on while I'm videoing. But, you know, we get on with things, don't we? So now I'm just going to try and put this axle, this drive shaft in place. So we did that so far without losing any fluid. Just going to pop the axle nut on the end. Now, for me personally, I haven't changed this one, but when you buy a drive shaft, you do get a new nut. I haven't brought a new drive shaft, so I didn't get a new nut. Now I'm just going to lever the ball joint in position. See if we can move you here. Come down. Hopefully that's a good angle. But obviously it's got to go through here, so we're going to lean this down as much as we can, and it will pop through. Almost. So just try and make it as straight as we can. Okay. We're kind of in. We just need to manoeuvre it so it will slide straight through. And there we have it. So just going to put the tie rod head in, drop link in, and that strut is fully back in. So there we have it. That's back up and all in. So I'm just going to put on the nuts now, and I'll torque them up all off there. I'm pretty sure there should be a washer here. And there we have it. Just got to put the pinch bolt through, torque all the bolts up, and then I'll check back with you once we're ready to put the brake disc and caliper back on. I've certainly enjoyed this one, so let me just show you the new wings. So obviously the wheels are going to be changed and hopefully do something with their marches, but that caliper looks wicked there. It's the same on the other side, and then when we come to doing before we do the wheels, we will change the calipers on the back here into purple ones. Yeah, spot on. Good job.